Hey, you've just stepped into the Caring Corner, where life's caregiving challenges meet a whole lot of heart and a dash of sass. I'm Michelle O'Neill, and I'm here to serve up insights, inspiration, and real life tools to help you navigate caring for your kids and aging loved ones without forgetting about you. Expect everything from time management hacks and emotional wellness strategies to technology tips sprinkled with humor and tenacity. Are you ready? Let's get to it.
We all have those moments where we know what steps would make our lives feel more manageable, right? Maybe it's saying no to one more commitment or finally setting aside time to organize the chaos of our schedules and demands that seems to run us. But here's the truth. There's a huge gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. That gap, that's where so many of us stay stuck. Hey, Michelle O'Neill here, your host and resident emotional wellness coach, and you are on the Caring Corner. Okay, so come on, let's dig right on in. Today, I want us to dive into the space between knowing and doing. Why it can feel safer to stay in our comfort zones, even when we know that stepping out would give us the energy, the clarity, and the freedom that we're craving. For so many of us, managing work, caregiving, and family, those routines feel familiar and comfortable, even if they're draining us. But what if that comfort is actually keeping us from the lives that we truly want to lead? Think about it. How often do you know exactly what would help you feel more comfortable or more in control, yet think about it. How often do you know exactly what would help you feel more in control, yet it stays on the back burner? Maybe it's finally saying no to that additional responsibility that you know is just too much right now, but you keep saying yes. Or it's creating a structure around the endless tasks so that they don't drain your time and your energy, but you put it off because, it feels like one more thing you have to do. Or maybe it's addressing something that feels uncomfortable, whether it's your own health or even a tough conversation that you've been avoiding because you know it's going to take some energy. And right now, I just ain't got it. But deep down, you know these are the things that could actually bring you some relief. I want to explore what's holding us in that comfort zone, why we often choose routines that keep us feeling busy but not better, and how we can start taking small, powerful actions to bring some calm, some energy, and clarity back into our lives. This is about finding the courage to choose what actually serves us, even if it means stepping out of what feels familiar. And look, I'm talking to myself as well. It isn't a one and done thing, but it's a habit that we all could be better vigilant with. So let's talk about comfort for a minute. Not that feel good kind of comfort, like sitting in your favorite chair with this warm, cozy blanket, but that kind that keeps you stuck. Comfort can feel safe because, it's familiar, even when it's not helping us. It lets us stay in the routines that we know, even if they drain us. And let me be honest, when life is already demanding, the thought of stepping into something unfamiliar, even if it might help us, can feel overwhelming. But here's the thing about comfort. Ooh, it is sneaky. It can look like routine, like staying on autopilot, even when we know that there's a better way. We hold on to it because it feels secure, but in reality, It's holding us back from growth, from the peace or the freedom that we actually want. Look, knowing ain't enough. Most of us already know what we need to do to make life better. Maybe you've told yourself, I need to ask for help, or I really should start saying no to some of these things, or even I know I need to take care of myself and prioritize my health. Okay, so why aren't you doing it? But comfort has this way of convincing us to, hey, stay put, to avoid making waves. Taking action means stepping into unknown territory. And to be honest, oh, girl, that's scary. Even when we know it's the right step, the discomfort of doing it keeps us stuck. Think about it this way. If you're a caregiver, maybe you know you need to ask for support, but you don't because you've gotten used to doing it all yourself, right? You can do it faster, better, whatever. You tell yourself, oh, it's just easier if I do it. It's just easier this way. Or I'll ask for help later, but later never comes. Or maybe you're like me in my business, staying in that comfort zone of creating content because it's what I love. Well, and why do I love it? Hey, I'm just going off track for a minute because I love doing this and talking to you and sharing with you. But what am I doing by staying there in my comfort zone? I'm avoiding marketing or other activities or income generating activities and tasks or talking to other people because hey, I'm an introvert and because they feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable. I'm just being real. We all have things we don't want to do because it forces us to step up and out of our comfort zone. So here's what happens. Every day we delay. Every time we stay in that familiar space of comfort, we reinforce that feeling that action is just too hard. And the longer we stay there, the harder it gets to take the steps that we know will actually help us. So, why do we let comfort hold us back? And what's the actual cost of staying in a place that feels safe but isn't serving us? Ooh, woo. Let's just snatch that curtain down, right? Let me break this big myth for you right off the bat. Staying in that comfort zone doesn't mean we're truly comfortable. Doing my air quotations here, it just means we've gotten used to carrying the weight. Did you hear me? But that weight, it wipes us out. Over time, inaction doesn't just leave us feeling trapped, it creates frustration and guilt and even resentment, not just with others, but with ourselves. Think about this. Every time you put off asking for help, every time you delay taking action on something you know would make your life easier, it builds up. It's like a constant loop playing in your mind. I should do this. Why haven't I done that? Until even small, manageable tasks feel overwhelming. And let's not forget the physical toll. Stress from staying in this place of indecision builds up in your body as well. Tight shoulders, tension headaches. See, are you starting to feel it right now while I'm telling you about it? Sleepless nights, blood pressure rising. It's not just emotional anymore. It starts to affect your health. And here's the hard truth. Every time we stay in comfort and avoid action, we're teaching ourselves that we can't even follow through. We start to believe, even subconsciously, that we're not capable of change. And that belief is what chips away at our confidence, making it even harder to take a step forward the next time. It's also not just self-trust that we lose. When we stay trapped in that void of quotation, air quotation marks, false comfort, we miss out on opportunities for growth and the life that we actually want. We don't apply for that position or for that promotion that we wanted. We don't take the time to heal our bodies. We don't open ourselves to relationships that might bring us joy, or we let our dreams stay just that, dreams. So, look, before we move any further, I want you to play this game with me, okay? Imagine this. You're sitting in this warm, comfortable, peaceful room with all the windows shut. And at first, it feels safe, right? You don't have to worry about nothing getting in. No bugs, no flies, no dirty air, no dirt, no dust. And you know exactly what to expect. But over time, have you noticed? That air gets stale. Whew, it's harder to breathe. And instead of feeling secure, you feel trapped. Outside, the fresh air and light are there. They're waiting there for you. They're beaconing to you. But to reach it, you have to do something. You have to open the window and let in the unknown. Staying in that room may feel easier in the short term, but eventually, oh, it's suffocating. It's choking the life out of you. And isn't that how staying in your comfort zone often feels? At first, well, it feels safe, but eventually, the weight of staying the same, reliving that same old reel becomes too much to bear. Here's the deal. Staying the same has a cost, and it's not small. It costs us our peace of mind, our energy, our growth, and often our sense of self. And here's the thing. It doesn't have to be that way. Change might feel uncomfortable, air quotations, but the freedom, the clarity, and the lightness on the other side, that's what makes it all worth it. So you're probably asking yourself and me, how do we start? How do we move past that place of inaction and take the steps we already know we need? I got the answer. Are you ready? Take one small step. One small, get this, uncomfortable step. Not any kind of step. It has to be a uncomfortable step. However you want to say it. I want you to get this about breaking free from your comfort zone. It doesn't require a total life overhaul. In fact, it's not supposed to. Real change starts with one small intentional step, the kind of step that makes you pause and think, this feels a little scary, but I know in my heart of heart, it's the right thing to do. Maybe for you, that step is saying no to a responsibility that you know you can't take on, or carving out time, and I mean real, protected time for yourself, even if it means asking for help to make it happen. Or maybe it's taking the first small step towards that project or goal that you've been putting off because it feels too big to tackle all at once. Whatever it is, choose one thing, one uncomfortable thing, just one, because each small step is what gets us closer to where we want to be. We have to learn to reframe discomfort as a sign of progress. Most of us have been taught to avoid discomfort, right? And to stay where things feel, well, easy and familiar. Hey, who wants to be uncomfortable? But discomfort isn't our enemy. It's actually one of the best indicators that you're growing. Think about a workout, right? When you lift weights or you push through a run, there's resistance. How many times have you wanted to stop, but you know, hey, I got to keep pushing? It's uncomfortable. In fact, it hurts. But that discomfort is exactly what builds strength. Without it, your muscles wouldn't grow. And that's the truth. But the same is true for your emotional and mental muscles. Every time you take a small step outside of what feels comfortable, you're stretching yourself, and that stretch is what creates change. On the other hand, just like with exercise, you have to know your limits. Growth isn't about pushing so hard that you burn out or that you hurt yourself beyond repair. It's about finding that sweet spot, that sweat spot where the discomfort is manageable and leads to progress. And don't forget about rest. Growth doesn't happen in the gym, it happens during your recovery. So, as you start taking these steps, remember to balance the discomfort with moments of stillness and self care. It's not about pushing nonstop, it's about pacing yourself so that you can keep moving forward without wearing yourself down. The most incredible part is that every time you take action, no matter how small, you reclaim a piece of your power. That one decision, that one step shows you that you're capable of more than you thought. It reinforces self-trust. And with each step, you begin to prove to yourself that you can act, that you're not stuck. And that momentum, ooh, it's contagious. Once you've taken one step, the next one feels just a little easier. And before you know it, you're building a life that reflects what truly matters to you. So let me make this real for you. If you've been stuck in the comfort of doing everything yourself this week, choose one task to delegate. Maybe asking one of your siblings to help with your parents' errands, or having your partner or your kids take the lead on something around the house. Laundry, cooking, dishes. You get the picture. If you've been putting off a project because it feels overwhelming, break it down into one tiny step, like writing the first sentence of an email or scheduling a 10-minute planning session. And if self-care feels impossible, start small. Take 5 minutes at the start of your day just to sit there in silence with your cup of coffee, or go for a walk after dinner. These small actions might feel insignificant, but they're not. They're the building block of a life that feels more aligned with who you are and what you need. Taking these steps may feel uncomfortable at first, but remember, discomfort is where growth begins. So choose just one thing this week, one action that feels just a little bit outside your comfort zone, and see how it starts to actually shift the way you feel about yourself and about life. The truth is, real growth, it doesn't come from staying in the familiar. It comes when we're willing to step into that discomfort, even when we don't know exactly what's on the other side. And that's not easy. I know it's not. But each small step that you take outside of comfort brings you closer to the life that feels less overwhelming, more manageable, and more aligned with who you truly are. This isn't about perfection or fixing everything overnight. It's about trusting that one step at a time, whether it's creating a schedule that helps bring some order to your chaos, or delegating a task to a family member, or carving out a moment of calm for yourself. You're building something better. You're creating space for yourself to breathe, to think, to show up fully for the people who matter most. And with that said, here's my challenge to you. Identify just one area where comfort has been keeping you stuck. Maybe it's how you manage your time with your loved ones, or how you navigate your own needs versus the needs of others. But pick one thing and take one small step outside of your comfort zone this week. Just one. And if you're not sure where to start, I've got something to help. My 3 minutes to calm guided meditation is a quick, simple way to ground yourself before you take that step. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to take that first action. Let's move forward together, even if it feels a little uncomfortable, because on the other side of that discomfort is the freedom and the relief that you've been looking for. Listen, I am so glad that you spent the time with me today, and I hope that you walk away with one step, one uncomfortable step that you're going to take today. Until next time, I'm Michelle O'Neill, your host and resident emotional wellness coach on the Caring Corner. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, that's a wrap for today at the Caring Corner. We've tackled some big topics, but remember, you're not in this alone. Subscribe to keep the wisdom and warmth coming. And stay tuned for amazing guests who'll be joining us to help round out your caregiving toolkit. Catch you next time, and keep conquering those challenges.